Yo, what is up YouTube? My name is bbreadman and welcome to the bakery. Today's Warzone Pro Tips video is on the end game and more specifically, how to set yourself up for that end game so that you have a better chance of winning it when you do actually get there. So let's get into it. The main goal of any battle royale is to win. Sometimes this purpose is lost in Warzone, where a lot of pro players and content creators often try to get as many kills as they can, regardless of if they're going to win or not. I kind of see this as a bad thing for the audience though. Depending on who you generally watch, you may agree with me when I say that most content creators, aka, the role models of the Warzone community, they're not really trying to win their games. So how are you going to learn? Those consuming Warzone content see these individuals frag day in and day out, but never really have the opportunity to learn the basics. So that's what I'm here for. We're going to speak about these keywords in order, starting with loot. Let's get into it. All right, so let's talk about loot. I made this nice graphic. It took me a couple hours regarding what I mean when I say you need loot to win a game. So I made it into 4 categories: boxes, streaks, loading, and money. So let's get into it. Boxes. I have munitions boxes and armor boxes. This is pretty self-explanatory. All of these are pretty self-explanatory, but when you put them all together, they create, like the optimal position for you to be in. So boxes, armor boxes, muni boxes. If you run out of armor or munitions, pop one, boom, you have more. Streaks, precisions, clusters, UAVs. Precisions and clusters, they can help you where if you're holding somebody out, if somebody's holding you out, if you get a knock, you could push someone off of a power position, which we'll talk about later. UAVs will tell you where people are that are unghosted. UAVs can also, some people don't know this, see people that are ghosted. I think if it's like in that 300 meter away mark, something like that. If you're far enough from somebody where you get a UAV ping and then you get close to them and you don't have them anymore, that means they're ghosted. The UAV is not glitching. That's just something that some people, I notice a lot in Twitch chat, don't really know. So that's just a little tip for you guys. Loadouts. Loadouts is, of course, you should be getting your loadout guns. Probably buy a loadout and then get your second loadout. Go ghost or something like that. If you don't already do that, you should probably do that. When I first started playing the game, I only grabbed the loadout that spawned on first circle, and that is a mistake. Especially nowadays, by then people already have loadout running through the whole map. So normally your loadout guns are better than what comes off the ground. If they're not, you should probably watch a JGod video and learn how to set your guns up. Money you need, because money will buy you all 3 of these things: boxes, streaks, loadies included. So get money. Basically, contracts, scavengers, supply runs, most wanteds, do those, get money. And if you guys do want to, it took me, a couple 10 hours, 14 hours or something. I don't remember how long it took me to make this graphic. So if you want to take a nice screenshot of it, trust me, you'll need it later. Let's go ahead and get into the next topic. All right, so let's talk about information. We're going to talk about where people are and where the zone's going to go. So where people are is, say, your UAVs, your ears, your audio, listening for people, their gunshot, stuff like that. Advanced UAVs coming from the bunkers that show even ghosted people are really important. Stuff like this will lead to you winning a game, because the more information you have, in terms of where people are going to be, the less you're going to get caught off guard, say running through a field or something like that, and just shot in the open. All right, so let's talk about zone pulls. Zone pulls are very important because, there are RNG. There's really nothing that you could do about bad zone pulls, and that's why in a lot of these custom game tournaments, you're noticing some players just get scummed on zone, and that's just how it is because, there's really no way to guess where it's going to go. You could kind of look at the trends and stuff like that, but essentially there's no real way to know where the zone's going to go other than recons. If you are, a fan of doing recons, or you want to win more games and you don't really know how, recons are an easy way to rack up those wins because they cut the RNG out of the zone and make it to where you literally know where the next zone's going to be. So say you know where the zone's going to go and you know where all the people are, you can win the game just like that. It's that easy. All right, let's talk about power positions. And since positions is really hard for me to say, I'm just going to say power spots, all right? So power spots are pretty self-explanatory. They're places that you want to be in that give you a little bit of edge on your opponent. And these have seen, we've seen these throughout history where, in wars, you'd want to fight downwards instead of upwards. Say you're on a massive hill, you'd have the advantage on the people down below you in the trough or whatever, the little valley. So let's talk about some of the power spots on the map of Verdansk. One that you could see that is one of the biggest ones you'll think of, iron, you think of prison. Prison is a super power position. If you have a zone that favors the bottom right side of the map, prison is going to be where you want to go. You could tell that prison is a power spot because all that's around prison is just a bunch of just little fields and stuff. So it's this massive tower surrounded by tons of fields. If you're in the field, you're probably going to get shot from above. Let's talk about some other ones. Hospital being one. Top of Superstore, say if your final circle's around Super and you're on top, that's a pretty good one. ATC is a really good one. Top of any of these buildings is relatively good. The thing about the power spots is that you're gonna get a circle where there's not gonna be anything in the circle or anything. Say that the circle's on this little hill up in the top here on fire, then fire's gonna be the power spot. But if you look at the map, fire's not really a good power position from just the map of all things, high and low. These are spots that you want to make on the go, and you'll get better at that as you go. Just keep in mind, you'd rather be above than below. All right, so let's talk about numbers. Say you're playing dodgeball in elementary school or something, and your team is being absolutely smoked by the opponent's team. Everybody on your team is getting hit. They're going out. It's just you now versus 10 people on the other team. What are you going to do? It's a 1v10. So that's what we're going to talk about numbers. It's a lot easier instead of it being a 1v10 than it being a 10v1. You want to put yourself in the position to be able to outnumber your opponent. And that means as many, of your teammates surviving to the end as possible. It also goes for gunfights because if you know that it's a 2v1 or something like that, we're using our UAV to see that there's one guy out here right now. And we know that he just landed back in on his loading. So we know it's one dude and not someone ghosted with him. You could win these fights easy. And this is a custom lobby. We know that everybody's good, but if we just play two together, we're not going to die. And so you could use methods like this to win fights in your own games. Two chow, boom. What's it going to do? Even if he downs my teammate, he's not going to be able to finish him because I'm just going to shoot him in the back. There is literally nothing he could have done there unless he C4'd us or something like that, which is something you have to take into account when you're rushing somebody. But again, use numbers to your advantage. Be the 10v1, not the 1v10. I appreciate you guys for making it to the end of this Warzone Pro Tips video. If you guys did like it, make sure you drop a like and a comment down below. Also, if you have a topic or something you want me to cover, drop it down in the comments as well. I do always get to those and try to figure out what my next video is going to be on for these Warzone Pro Tips. Remember, we do post these every Tuesday, so if you do like that kind of content, make sure you subscribe. Stick around. I appreciate you guys. Peace.
Are you getting DDoS?
Dude, I googled it, YouTubed it, and was pissed at the word.
Reddit it.
Yes, yes, I was like,
Well,
I usually Reddit all the comments.
yeah, I played a few games this morning, and I was like, alright, feeling good.
Yeah, it's good, it's good.
Yeah. I guess you know how the MVP